Mahatma Gandhi, 10 Tips on Changing the World. Life principles that one wants to learn and repeat like a mantra. Mahatma Gandhi needs no introduction. In India, his name is revered with the same reverence as the names of saints. The whole world knows the man who brought his country to independence from British rule in 1947. 1. Change yourself. If you want the world to change, be the change yourself. If you change your thoughts, your feelings and actions will change too. And thanks to this, the world around you will change, not only because you will look at the surrounding through the prism of new feelings and thoughts, but also because inner changes will allow you to act differently than you would have before, based on the previous image of thoughts. 2. Gain control over yourself. Nobody can harm me without my consent. What you feel and how you react to something always depends on you. There may be typical patterns of behavior in different situations, but in most cases you can choose for yourself what to think and feel about almost everything. It may not happen right away, or it may not always be like this, and the habit of thinking the old way will still be there. But gradually you will realize that no one from outside can actually control your feelings, and you will be able to use this way of thinking in everyday life. 3. Forgive and forget. The weak never forgive. Forgiveness is a sign of strength. The eye for an eye principle can make the whole world blind. It is impossible to defeat evil with evil. And as the previous advice states, you always choose how to respond to something. When you start to think more and more in this way, you will be able to respond to what is happening in the most beneficial way for you and others. If you don't forgive, you are allowing the past and another person to control your emotions. By forgiving, you free yourself from these bonds and can then focus on something else. 4. Doing nothing, you will get nowhere. A gram of one's own experience is worth more than a ton of someone else's advice. Not much can be done if no action is taken. You can start finding solace in musings, as Gandhi said, or endlessly read and learn, and you will feel like you are moving forward. But in the meantime, you will have no real results, or they will be small. So, in order to really achieve what you want and truly understand yourself and your world, you need practice. Books can give you knowledge, but not skills. You need to act and manifest knowledge into results. 5. Live in the present. Don't want to predict the future. I'm concerned about the present. The best way to overcome the internal resistance that often prevents us from taking action is to stay in the present. Why? When you live in the present, you don't worry about what will happen next because you can't control it anyway, and the reluctance to take action, which rises from fear of future consequences or memories of past failures, loses its power. It becomes easier to act, focus on the current moment. 6. We are only human. Declare that I am an ordinary person, prone to errors like any mortal. However, I have enough humility to recognize my mistakes and make amends. It is not very wise to be confident in one's own wisdom. It is necessary to remember that the strongest may show weakness, and the wisest may make a mistake. When you start idealizing individual people, Even if they have achieved remarkable results, you risk separating yourself from them. You may get the feeling that you, unlike them, will never be able to achieve such success because they are so different from you. So it is very important never to forget that each of us is an ordinary person, regardless of who they are in life. It is very important to remember that we are all human, and each of us can make mistakes. Applying unreasonable standards to people in the future will only lead to an even greater number of completely unnecessary conflicts in your world and negativity in yourselves. 7. Be persistent. At first you are not noticed. Then they laugh at you, then they fight with you, and then you win. Be persistent over time. The rejection around you will weaken and eventually disappear. Your inner resistance and self-destructive tendencies that pull you back and prevent you from changing will also weaken. Find out what you really love to do. This will allow you to find an inner motivation to keep pushing forward again and again. One of the reasons why Gandhi was so successful in applying his method of nonviolent resistance was because he and his supporters were incredibly persistent. They simply didn't know the word to give up. Success or victory coming as quickly as you would like is very rare. One of the reasons why people don't achieve what they want is because they give up too soon. Usually it takes much longer than they expected to reach their goal. Partly this false assumption comes from the world around us, a world full of magical pills for any problem, where in advertising they constantly promise that you can lose a lot of weight or make a fortune in just 30 days. Finally, one more useful advice on how to stay persistent. Don't lose your sense of humor. This will help you to take life easier even in the toughest times. 8. Look for the good in people and help them. I'll only count on the good in people. I am not without sin myself, so I do not consider myself entitled to focus on the mistakes of others. The greatness of a person is especially evident by how much they contribute to the well-being of those close to them. I'll understand that once upon a time muscles were necessary to lead, but now it means the ability to get along with people. Everyone has both good and bad qualities, but you can always choose what to focus on if you want to make positive changes. Then the right decision would be to focus on the good sides of people. This will make your life easier as your relationships will become more positive and pleasant. 9. Be harmonious, sincere, and stay true to yourself. Happiness is when what you think, say, and do is in harmony. One of the best tips for improving your communication skills is to start genuinely communicating and interacting with others when your thoughts, words, and actions become harmonious. You gain immense inner satisfaction. You feel a surge of energy and satisfaction with yourself. If you are truly sincere, people will try to really listen to what you are saying. There is no falsehood, contradiction, or hypocrisy in your speech, but if your actions don't match up with what you say, then you'll start to lose faith in yourself to reach your goal, as well as the faith of others in you. Don't deceive yourself. 10. Keep growing and developing. Constant development is the law of life, and a person who always strives to adhere to firmly established views, only for the sake of constancy, puts himself in an incorrect position. You can always significantly improve your skills, change habits, or reconsider your assessment. You can reach a deeper understanding of your nature and the world around you. Of course, in doing so you may look illogical or not understand at times what you are doing. You may have difficulty achieving harmony or genuine communication, but if you don't grow, as Gandhi said, you will put yourself in a losing position. You will defend your old views and cling to them to appear constant until you realize something is wrong. Much more useful and happy will be the choice of the path of growth and development. Subscribe, and let's build a success mindset together.